boy, can you feel it? Today is a monumental day for the channel because today we're talking about expansion. Now I know what you're thinking, Alex, when are you going to start that Might I Suggest a Game clothing line? Well, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that one. Today I'm just talking about this expansion. If you watched some of my previous videos, you'll know that Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig was one of my top games last year. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the expansion to this game called Secrets and Soirees.
Soiree, honey, I think that means party.
So if you want to know more about the base game, click the link in the top right corner. But if you watch that and you want to know more about the expansion, then might I suggest? Hi, I'm Alex and welcome to Might I Suggest a Game, a channel devoted to helping you find your perfect board game. In today's episode of Fresh from the Cellar, we're going to be talking about the Secrets and Soirees expansion for Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Phew, try saying that one 10 times fast.
If you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I'm getting pretty used to saying Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig because I talked about this game a ton last year. And if you haven't seen my videos, why not take a second to go down and hit subscribe and that little bell button so you can get notified when I post new content. I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary for this channel and I'm planning to celebrate it with some awesome giveaways, so make sure you subscribe so you can stay tuned for that. Anyways, back to it. I want to start by giving a special shout out to Stonemaier Games for providing this awesome review copy. The base game was one of my favorites from last year, and so I'm excited to talk to you a little bit more about this expansion. Now, I'm not sure how many times I've mentioned it on the channel, but I'm not really an expansion guy. Sometimes I have a hard enough time getting the base game to the table that an expansion just seems too much for my brain to handle. But after playing the Secrets and Soirees expansion, I might change my tune a little bit. Anyways, I'm going to give a quick overview of the things that this expansion adds. I'll talk about the things that I liked and maybe some of the things that I didn't like, and then I'll break it down with all my final thoughts and recommendations on this game. So, you ready? Will the Secrets and Soirees expansion be the perfect game for you? Let's find out, shall we? Alright, let's talk about some of the things that this expansion adds to the base game. First off, for all you solo players, this game includes instructions and components for 2 new solo variants. In the first mode, you'll play a variation of the base game against 2 AI players. In the second mode, lovingly dubbed the introvert mode, you'll just be playing against 1 AI player, and it'll play more like the 2-player variant that's in the base game. Anyways, other than the solo variants, this game adds tiles to accommodate 1 more player, bringing the player count all the way up to 8. The bigger challenge here is to find a table big enough to accommodate 8 different castles. Once you get past the new regular room tiles, you'll find that this game adds 3 new types of tiles as well. The first type of tile is the secret room tile. There are 16 new secret rooms that are added into the tile stacks, and that add a whole new layer of strategy when you're building your castle. When you get a secret room, it'll just give you a direction. Wherever you place it, it'll mimic all the properties of the tile that it's pointing to. The only caveat is that you can't place it next to specialty rooms like the throne room or the grand foyer. That might be a little too powerful. The next new type of tile is the activity room. The activity room is a room that didn't make it over in the first try from the original game of Castles of Mad King Ludwig, but the Secrets and Soirees expansion adds it back in style. The 24 new activity room tiles can score a maximum of 4 points each if you can surround them orthogonally with different tiles. However, each of the activity rooms has 1 type of room that it does not want to be around. If that type of tile is anywhere around the 8 adjacent spaces for your activity room, then your activity room can only score 1 point, so be careful. If you manage to get 3 activity rooms in your castle, then you'll get the bonus which will let you pick the last new type of tile, the ballroom. The 16 new ballroom tiles count as specialty rooms, and as can be expected, they're very social rooms. Each ballroom specifies 1 specific type of tile that you want to see in your neighbor's castles. Then at the end of the game, each ballroom will score 1 point for each room of that type in the adjacent castles. These ballrooms can be really powerful, but they can also be a letdown if you're not careful, so make sure to play them wisely. Anyways, other than the secret room, the activity rooms, and the ballrooms, there's a few extra components that the game adds like bonus cards and another throne room, but nothing else that'll affect the gameplay. So let's jump into some of the things that I like about this expansion. So what did I like about the Secrets Soirees expansion? Well, first of all, I have to get this off my chest. I really don't like expansions that don't fit into the base game box. But luckily for this one, not only does it fit perfectly in the base game box, there was a space specifically created for it so that it nests in so nicely, and that alone is worth the price of admission. I don't have enough space on my shelves to be carrying every base game and all the expansions for it, so I really appreciate it when publishers consider this and design accordingly. Okay, now let's talk about the actual game. Of the new types of tiles, my favorite type is the secret room tile. I really love this kind of wild card joker tile that can copy some of the tiles that are already in your castle. I thought it was a great opportunity for players to get that 3-room bonus early on without them having to get lucky and drawing 3 of that room type as the tiles get passed around. When you can get that triple room bonus early, it can either give you a better objective to go for right away, or it can give you more tiles to expand your castle early, which will definitely help you in the endgame. Plus, the secret rooms add just a little bit more of that intrigue that can turn your castle into a really fun story to tell. Whenever I play, I always like to tell a story about my castle and why the rooms are in there, and the secret rooms take that to the next level. I also thought the ballroom tiles were really clever. I like the heavy player interaction that you already have in this game, but when you get a ballroom, you include even more castles into the people that you want to interact with, and that makes the game even more fun in my eyes. As you can tell, I'm not playing much of the introvert mode. But with that being said, as much as I like the secret rooms and the ballrooms, the activity rooms seemed a little too convoluted for my taste. The game already has so much going on, and the scoring conditions for the activity rooms seem just one tick too much. Plus, the iconography on the tiles is a little confusing, and we had to keep reminding ourselves of the scoring conditions in the first game that we played. Overall, the activity tiles are take it or leave it for me, but I like that you need to get them in order to get the ballrooms, so I guess they're okay. The last thing I should mention is the scoring. This bad boy is a point salad game with everything but the kitchen sink thrown in, and that can get a little confusing, especially for new players. When you're doing the scoring by hand, it might take longer than the actual game itself to score the dang thing. Personally, I use the Mad King Steward app, but even when I used that app, it had a little bit of trouble scoring the new tiles from the expansion, so that was kind of a bummer. Anyways, let's get into my final thoughts and recommendations for this expansion. To me, the Secrets Soirees expansion for Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig is a success. It adds more than it takes away, but not enough to be overwhelming. It gives new life and new excitement to a game that already had really great replayability in the first place, and did I mention it fits perfectly into the base game box? It reminds me a little bit of the first European expansion for Wingspan. It adds in new components and a few new concepts, but overall it works seamlessly with the original game and can be integrated right away into new plays of this one. So anyways, this Secrets Soirees expansion might have turned me into a believer. It definitely has me online looking for new expansions for some of my favorite games. So now, let me give you some recommendations for the types of people that I think would really like this expansion. First off, if you have the base game and you want to crank up that combo making tile laying experience, then you should check out this expansion. Second, if you have the base game and you're really looking for more of that semi-cooperative player interaction, then you should definitely check out this expansion. And lastly, if you don't have either of the games, but you're looking to pick up a game, and maybe an expansion, that's easy to learn, difficult to master, and brings a lot of strategy, excitement, teamwork, and most importantly, fun to the table, then might I suggest the Secrets Soirees expansion for Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Thanks so much for sticking around for today's episode of Fresh from the Cellar. I like this expansion more than I thought I would, and although it may not completely change my stance on expansions, it definitely has moved the needle for me. Anyways, I need some more new ideas for videos to make, so if you have anything good, drop it below in the comments. I always love to hear from you guys, and when you do comment, that lets me know you watched the whole video, so that's extra brownie points. Anyways, thanks so much for everyone that's supported me so far. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so I can keep growing this channel and keep helping you find your perfect board game. Once again, this has been a Might I Suggest a Game production, and I'm Alex, your board game sommelier, signing off.